up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Unplugged podcast. Thank you again for catching this latest episode of Unplugged. But before we start this episode, it's time to pay some bills. And today's episode is brought to you by Popple. This tiny sticker is all you need to transfer all your data from your phone or your keychain or even bracelets. Popple is the latest technology in digital business cards. And before this tiny sticker, I've been using business cards. And what's a problem with business card? One, it wastes lots of paper. Two, how many times do you look in your coat pockets, jackets, purses, wallets, just to find a business card you got 10 years ago or 3 years ago, or you might even see a business card pop up in one of your drawers. Like they get lost. All you need is to wave it over phone like so. The Popple app appears, click on it, and it takes you right to your Popple profile. And all my social media, all my videos, my podcasts are all in one page for guests and clients to find. It's pretty awesome. And after starting with Popple, I'm not going back. It's the easiest way to connect people with just your phone. All the information you choose to share goes straight to their phone. It comes in a sticker form like this. You can put it back in your phone. Also comes in a keychain as well as a bracelet. And you can even choose to have a personal or a business one. Pretty cool, right? And guess what? If you're interested in getting your own Popple, go on the Popple website. I'll put the link down below and just type in Katar Marcus and you'll get 20% off on all your Popple purchases. So that means the keychain, the bracelet, and another cool thing, they do personalized stickers. I do have some merchandise coming and I got a sticker with my actual logo on it. Business cards are kind of phasing out and everyone's going on social media now. So everyone wants to know where my Instagram is, my Facebook, my YouTube, my SoundCloud. It's all here on Popple. So once again, if you want to get your own Popple sticker or Popple keychain, go onto the Popple website. Under discounts, type in Katar Marcus and you get 20% off on all your purchases. So yeah, I just want to share this awesome sticker that's going to help you immensely share all your social media and all your contact information. So thank you so much, Popple. I look forward to using you more in the future. But until then, guys, enjoy the podcast and I'll see you guys next one. Peace.
I remember the cool thing about working at TerraTram is that we got catered. Like we didn't have to go to
their catering was top notch.
Yeah. I never even ate the backstage food. I just had whatever we had at catering. And then on top of that, they like give us like a bunch of candy to keep us all sugared up and whatnot. Like they take care of you pretty well at Universal. Universal has great, like at least when we were there, they were doing a great job taking care of us, make sure we were comfortable, and plus they were makeup people down below with us in case we had any snafus with our outfits or our makeup. Like I remember one time my mask, because the mask would go up to your lip, that's where the teeth are in the zombie mask. And after scaring so much and making lots of facial moves,
the sweat would like break down.
And, but they touch it up.
Yeah, that's what usually happened to me, where I'd be running around so much. And October, even in California, where it will cool down, but you're looking at probably from like 90 degrees back down to like 65, where if you're still running around, you can work up a hell of a sweat.
Yeah. I think I wore thermal and I wore like Under Armour because like it was pretty cold. But then once you jump in the job and you start scaring people, it doesn't like you get sweaty, you do get hot. I miss those days so much, man. Like it's one of those things where if I can go back or if I could come back, like I would.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I think we'll be able to tell maybe in like July when they start doing casting, then we'll know it's going to be for sure. And the way things are going, I think it's very possible because Disneyland's opened up, Knott's, Universal, so the theme parks are back in business. We all just gotta do our due diligence, and but that's California because like California, we're doing our due diligence, and it's.
Same thing back in here. I'm actually in Minnesota right now.
Oh shit! Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, and the same thing. They're kind of in the same scenario where you guys have Disneyland, but we have Mall of America, and they're reopening, and they're almost fully reopened, but they're under COVID restrictions, and if there's like a breakout that happens, they're going to shut back down.
I didn't know you were in Minnesota. No wonder you jumped on at like, because I was like, why are you jumping on at 5? Oh, you're in Minnesota. I didn't know that.
Sorry. I'm sorry about that, man.
No, you're good. I was free today, so I'm glad to talk to you.
And to be fair, it's only temporary. I'm probably going to be staying there for a year, but I'm going to be moving back down west. Maybe not California, but back down west to where all I
Yeah,
can do is drive back down to Universal. Maybe come visit you guys.
bro. Yeah, dude, we should do.
Yeah,
Hopefully, I mean, if you make it in California, if you want to do a trip, and you come down, let me know. I'll come with you.
yeah,
We'll go
sure.
together. Let's try to get Scott.
Yeah.
Let's try to get the old team together. That'd be fun. Oh, dude, when you move to Minnesota?
It was last November,
So,
and it took us a week to drive from California to Minnesota,
oh
and
wow.
everyone's been great here, but it's one of those things where we're still under pretty tight restrictions. I mean, everything up here is getting released now, but I don't know. I guess part of me is getting homesick. The other
Yeah.
part of me just wants to go out and explore the good parts of Minnesota right now.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, we're all making sacrifices, trying to do our
Yeah.
best, and like you're not the only one. I have to remind myself, like, I'm not the only one. I know I see a lot of people disregarding and still going out and doing things like that's their prerogative and stuff, but like for me,
Jackass.
I mean, everyone has the right to do it. It's like I can't tell you to be safe and be a better person. That's on you, So, I can't. I'm at the point now where I'm not. I'm not gonna. I'll preach and be like, please be safe, but I'm not gonna be like, you're wrong for doing this. Like, no. I mean, like at the end of the day, you're gonna make your own choices. That you think are the best for yourself. And sadly, some of those choices put other people in danger. But that's on you. Like you get sick, you get your family sick, that's on you. And my friends have done that. So, and it's me personally haven't, I've been locking down hardcore, haven't done anything. Like I go out a few times, like I got vaccinated. So like, okay, I'm gonna start going out a little more now, but it's like, I'm still being responsible. I'm wearing a mask. I'm like, oh, this mask sucks. Like, yeah, I don't like wearing a mask, but like, if it means people are going to be safer, like I'm going to keep my mask on. It's just courtesy. And it doesn't
Yeah.
bother me because I wear a Spider-Man mask. It's just nothing,
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I've been wearing facial prosthetics for the
yeah,
better half of a decade, so masks are not going to
yeah, I've had it worse.
affect me. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad you and your family are doing well out there.
Yeah.
Were there any notable projects that you did after Horror Nights? Like, because I see your updates all the time, and I'm like, you get to put some fun stuff on.
Well, I mean, the notable projects. I guess I would have to say the monsters. I mean, yeah, I did a lot of background extra work. I mean, my first 4 SAG factors. I have 8 SAG factors total, but the first 4 ones were I was in Iron Man 2.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
I was in the scene. You're not going to see me, but I was in the scene where the robots that what's his name, Mickey Rourke's character. I forgot his name.
Whiplash.
But Whiplash. He creates he takes advantage of the robots and they wreak havoc around the place. But the shot where they're walking down the steps, I still remember my position where I'm the second guy on the left,
Okay.
on camera left.
Yeah.
You're
right
yeah,
before a young Peter Parker shoots.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's canon now. They made apparently that's canon. That is young Peter Parker. That's cool. You're part of MCU. You're part of the MCU, man. Think about it. You were part of the MCU. You are.
Yeah, part of that. I didn't even know who that kid was. I didn't even know why that scene was even there until I saw it and the revelations of what they were trying to do from like the later films. But yeah, that was a very neat and weird experience because I was a CG. The best way to describe it, I was a CGI drone stand-in where they slapped me into this
motion capture
silver bodysuit. I look like a condom, and they put like Velcro straps on me so they can track my movement.
That's awesome. You got to do some motion capture work. That's really cool.
They didn't make me do anything simply complicated because I told them right off the bat I'm not like their stuntman or anything. They just watched me move, and all I did was stand up and move my arm like this to shoot at Tony.
Yeah. That's cool. Like, so wow, you're part of the MCU, man. That's a big deal. Like, I would love to be in an MCU.
Small sliver.
Still, dude. That's still like, as a big MCU fan, that's awesome. Right?
Yes.
I did extra work for like the first Spider-Man when I was a kid, like, but it's not an MCU movie. That's a Raimi movie, but it was a fun experience. But I didn't get a chance. See, I'm not any background work I've done. It's just background work, like you get do some specialty stuff, like people don't realize that.
And sometimes, yeah, but then I'll get excluded because I was too tall.
Yeah. It's a double-edged sword, because your specific height and your look can get you a lot of work, obviously. But I can understand. Yeah, it restricts you as well because you'd have a very specific height and whatnot. But still, man, that's cool. Like that you got to be in an MCU movie. That means you are canon. You were canon in the storyline. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's a weird, kind of a weird thing when you're an actor like I am, and I think Doug Jones kind of touched in on this, where he has to tell people like what kind what kind of character he was. Nobody knows that he was Abe Sapien unless they are a fan of his.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of heading towards the same path where, let's say I make a monster, or someone in the makeup industry makes a monster that is so instantly recognizable. They'll recognize the monster way before they will recognize me. So that's kind of a weird scenario where I don't want, where it's not like instant facial recognition.
But we do live in a world now where like that type of performance is much more attention to it now. I mean, I think of, like Andy Serkis. I think. Well, you also mentioned what's the name from Hellboy?
Doug Jones.
Doug Jones. Yeah. Ron Perlman. Also. Yeah. So
Alan Tudyk too sometimes.
Yeah, there's a place to elevate that, but at the same time, like I can understand how you feel. There are some I can understand where you feel like you're missing some opportunity. Like it's funny. I bring up a lot with my acting friends, like the weirdness of casting. Like they can be very specific and it can be very broad at the same time.
They can be very they can be very specific too. Where I would look like, I would go out for roles where I may fit the personality, but sadly by the end of the day, it's what you look like that's going to be in most directors' heads.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you really pull out all the stops and you knock out this character on the first try, which sometimes it's very unlikely.
I think the ideal like male is like 6'3" casting. And like tall, handsome. I know they want, and like neither of us are that type, So it's like, well, if you keep casting this type, then like what about the other people because like we live in such a beautiful palette of the world, we live nowadays much more like responsive to this now. We're like, no, we should stick to a more different people, different sizes, different age group. But it's much more people are noticing. We don't want to keep seeing fucking the Riverdale cast in every movie again. People are like, oh no, let's get some more people of color and different.
And everyone, everyone on this planet is fighting for inclusivity, and that's very important. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for it, but also it raises some gray questions where, let's say, I know that we're raising questions about like race and like gender issues, but let's say that let's say that I go for a monster that happens to be a female character that and that might to today's standard that might raise a little bit of stink, but then again, if let's say like one of my a female goes for like a male character and she gets it, what do you think about scenarios like that?
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson play another transgender person or something like that.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point, and I think when it comes to casting, because at the end of the day, like an actor's job is to perform a character, which isn't themselves most of the time. But there's autobiography and stuff like that. But like where you draw a line between like an actor's talent, like can you praise Angelina Jolie for playing a black woman, even though we probably could just hire a black woman to play this character and like elevate her, So it's like it's a thin line, but at the same time, it's like, well, if you're already successful, like, hey, I mean, you could draw back a little bit. You know, like why go for another role that like you could another person could excel in? And but that gives a lot of people get caught up in their own successes that they don't think about like, oh well, maybe I should, like, but in terms of like race, in terms of like casting, it's out of sight, out of mind. You're like, oh, we don't know any Asian actors that could take this role. We better get, Emma Stone. Or like it sucks, but like the mindset is it's a business. People they want to hire bankable actors that like they know have. I mean, I'm talking like big.
They have major fan base pull.
Fan bases have a big thing to do with it, and then like
big time.
Even for me when I was doing music theater and stuff, like it comes up. We're like, oh, are people going to want to see an Asian Tony West Side Story? I don't know, because like from my understanding, with at least in theater, people like, there's a generation of directors who like to cast shows so they look just like the movie. So you could place that character. Oh, it looks just like Carousel. It looks just like Oklahoma. Like because you want that affiliation to that movie, so people have that nostalgia and they want to watch your show. I get that. At the same time, like you can tell an incredible story without relying on being age specific, like look specific. Like, and I bring up Hamilton because Hamilton is a show that has multicultural, like everyone looks different.
It's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, it's a incredible show.
It's honestly, even though they redid. I heard that they redid some scenes.
They edited some stuff for Disney.
Yeah, so they could do it for Disney. But even then, it was just, I had to give props to Manuel Miranda for putting on such a brilliant performance.
Well, it's supposed to reflect, because like the fact that they have so much diversity, it's supposed to reflect how America looked back then. Because even the idea of being from like being Dutch and then being from England was like foreign. It was like you're in a community full of like all these different, well, white people, but white people of different regions. But to them, like they were all immigrants. So to reflect that today, we put people of color to show that like, they were all different, but they came together to build this country, So and I think that's a great way to translate it for modern audiences. And I don't think and like those actors do a phenomenal job as like George Washington, as Alexander Hamilton, as like, and you don't.
The guy that played Washington, he was great, and same thing with.
So like just like this presence that like you see the embodiment of George Washington in this guy's performance. It's amazing. Yeah.
Same thing with Hamilton. The girl that played Hamilton's wife, she had some vocals, man.
Oh my God, yeah.
She was fantastic.
I think the Schuyler sister, the Schuyler sisters are my favorite thing about.
Yeah,
they have my favorite songs. They're my favorite characters in that show. Like I love the Schuyler sisters. The songs are the best ones. You bring up a good point about like casting, and like I don't know, because there's also issues like that's the Sia movie, the one with the girl, the dancing the girl she always works with. Sia, she did a movie about autism, and rather than hire an autistic performer, she hired Maddie Ziegler, which is like a really famous young dancer, and she's a great dancer, great performer. And she got a lot of slack for casting a girl to play an autistic child. So then it brings up, okay, is it kind of blackface? It looks kind of silly, it's like, is it offensive to people with autism? And a lot of people took offense to it. And Sia's argument was that like they tried to hire a autistic girl for the role, but because of her autism, she was very because when you're on the spectrum, a lot of things can just make you have anxiety, and like just different environments, different things, and like it maybe can't translate well into a production standpoint. But she said that the actress wasn't comfortable performing and doing these things. Okay, then we bring in the professional to do that. And I think a compromise would have been letting the autistic girl play that autistic character in all the like scenes and just all the quiet scenes of her being herself and reading and things like that. But then when you go into her fantasy world, either have her dance with Maddie or have Maddie play like that girl's ideal self. Like there could have been like the little girl could have like a blue streak in her hair, and that would symbolize like when she imagines her fantasies, and Maddie would be playing her in her fantasies. I think that's what they should have done, but what they end up doing is having Maddie play an autistic child, and she's a first time actress. She's not like, this isn't like a young girl who's like has studied Meisner or anything. She's a dancer, which is talent itself, and a lot of dancers are great at expressing physicality because they're dancers, but in terms of like playing autism, it's a very thin line. It's like in this world, I think we want to give more opportunity and more real, I guess, reality to some of these performances by having an actor who is autistic or an actor who is transgender. Let's because like you hear stories like, oh my Jake Gyllenhaal won an Oscar for Brokeback Mountain, like, well,
or when Dustin Hoffman played Rain Man.
Yeah, yes, and I think
it's probably like
great
the best example. Yeah,
great performance, but like
perfect.
We've come such a long way now, where like we can find talented individuals within those communities to not only, because I think when you have an actor perform like somebody who's mentally handicapped or has autism or is challenged, like you walk a very thin line of parodying them, and then you end up having people parodying the movie and making fun of the movie because like, oh, it's a funny scene because something about Mary. Remember something about Mary? She had a mentally
mentally challenged brother.
Yeah, and like freaking beans and like just saying all these weird, like, it's funny, but in hindsight, like that's a parody of a person with mental instability. So in hindsight, like that kind of sucks. Like and you have to really step back from your own nostalgia and be like, imagine what if I was a kid who was with that exact same condition, and I saw myself being parodied on like, everyone's laughing at you. It's like, that sucks. And I've experienced that with like Asian parodies, and every time I hear an Asian joke, or every time it's like, oh, misohoni, all this stuff, that all these like cliche like Asian jokes you hear, like, oh, you can't drive. I hate it. It sucks because I'm always trying to push those stereotypes, and yet I think you have to understand that every stereotype that's out there, there's someone in that community that is consistently trying to break those stereotypes. So every time when you see it on TV, it's seeing it glorified, it hurts because it makes you take a step back in your career. That's how I see it. Because like when I was acting, William Hung was like the nail in the coffin of being considered being serious as an actor, because when William Hung came out, every audition I went to, not every, but a lot of them were like, well, can you do an Asian accent? Can you like, is something you do? And I was like, no, I was strictly against doing any type of Asian accent, just because I knew the repercussions of that would linger longer than my performance, and like, I get it. You want to push the envelope, and you want to like, make it a little edgy and use like racial jokes, but like, you know what? As a person who is Asian, like, I don't want to perpetuate that in my career. Yeah. But I think that's where people are at a standstill, because there are some phenomenal entertainers and actors who can do those roles and have done it phenomenally.
But you have to really knock it out of the park. You have to, or else one slip and you're going to look like you're offending entire group.
And I would say work with that community, and really try not just to like sound like them, but also like understand their plight, understand what that person goes through, and that makes a great performance. But I think there's a way to, if you were to do a role that would be controversial in terms of like race or whatever, there's a way to do it, but there has to be a clear line of respect and taking into consideration that culture or that person's experiences. Because like I remember The movie La Bamba. I love La Bamba. Great movie. Lee Diamond Phillips, he's half Filipino. He's not Hispanic at all. But
Yeah.
he took the time to study not only Mexican culture, but Richie Valens' family. And he really got to know the family to the point where, like, when they filmed the scene where he boards the plane, Richie Valens' little sister was crying, be like, "No, don't go on the plane," because she was like, she was back there, like. And I think he did enough for the role to be respectful to the culture, to the family, and like I think that's how you do it, Good, and people down the line
That's
will
how I
always,
do it too.
yeah,
I mean, to be fair, I remember early that a lot of people would kind of refer me as a Russian, like a Russian type, like a Russian mafia type. And if I ever got, I'm not even a tenth Russian, right? I have no Russian heritage in my body, but if I were to play the role of someone who is Russian, I'd probably learn how to speak Russian, learn little tidbits that differentiate the a Russian person from American dude, which I know all about, but yeah, I would rather study than parry what America thinks of Russia, which is basically the Russian stereotype.
yeah. There was an actor I worked with on The King and I. He wasn't Asian, but he did a lot of research about The King, and then he came out to me, and he was like, "Katar." So I've been like researching about, because he knew that I was Thai, and he's like, "Katar, I'm doing a lot of research about King Rama, who I'm playing," and I was like, "There's a lot of like a lot of things wrong with this show." I'm like, "Yeah, there are a lot of inaccuracies about Anna the King," and he's like, "Yeah, like how can I do this respectfully and honor?" And I was like, "You know what, dude? This musical was made. I mean, this music wasn't made for the king. This musical is purely a work of fiction through the eyes of Anna, whatever her name is, and like the fact that you're discussing with me and acknowledging it." It goes for miles, and I appreciate that. But I feel like as long as you first of all, don't tape your eyes, because he was taping his eyes back. I was like, don't do that.
Oh
yeah. I was
that.
like, as a friend, don't do that. That's gonna be nothing but trouble for you. Secondly, I would focus on maybe doing, if you want to do an accent, I wouldn't really make it a specific Thai accent. I would just do it like a vague foreign accent we know we can spot. And he kind of developed this kind of style that didn't sound too.
Yeah, because there are levels. I mean, you
yeah,
can.
Yeah.
I know people who have their accents that are very thick. I mean, and as an actor, that is, that was always kind of like a turn on for me. Where if I hear like an authentic accent from whatever country you've been on, that's what I always wanted to mimic that. But again, though, there's a difference between a thick accent and just a little bit of an accent.
Yeah. There's a parody, and then there's like a distinguished, but like kind of, it sounds normal, like a natural without being parodied. I think I think the cast of Black Panther, they do a great job of
Yeah.
that, because you can't
Yeah.
spot like, oh, that's Ugandan, or oh, that's South African. Like it's a very base level African accent that doesn't sound too parodied, and it actually brings a lot of eloquence to Wakanda as well, but yeah, dude, you bring up a lot of good points, and I think it's important for performers and actors to have this conversation, because I think cultural appropriation is very important, because there are much more of us out there now voicing our opinions and but that's good though, because that we have more people telling you like, hey,
and when it's done,
and
when it's done really well, it can. Yeah, and when it's done really, sorry about that.
No, please.
And when it's done really well, it can go on forever, and that could be a great thing. I mean, cultural appropriation. Look at even comic books where when Miles Morales was introduced, he had a lot of criticism because everyone Peter Parker was so beloved, but after a while they started creating some very very well done stories about Miles Morales, and and he wound up being one of the most beloved characters in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I think that's because like he has the spirit of Peter, but he's a very different. He has a very different journey. Like his parents growing up in Spanish Harlem or Spanish Brooklyn, no, Brooklyn, Spanish Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But like, and he's half Latino, and people don't notice this. Like, so his name is Miles Morales,
Yeah.
but his father's name is Aaron Davis.
Yeah.
So his father basically he's raising a kid who isn't his, and there are lots of kids like that. There are lots of families like that. There are lots of families that have that they're both working parents, they're not dead,
Oh, yeah.
There's so many and I think the fact those differences will connect with somebody, and it's a different story to tell within the same kind of realm of Spider-Man, so I think I love Miles Morales. I think he's probably one of the most, in terms of, I guess, like characters that came out of the woke era of like, bringing more people of color into things. He's one of the best, because I remember when
he really shined.
Yeah, he completely shines, because I remember even before Spider-Verse came out, people knew about Miles Morales. Like he was very much in the zeitgeist of the very casual comic book fan, because I did like a cosplay charity event, and we had like a few Miles Moraleses in the group, but every time, because basically it was for Disney, we all dressed up in cosplay to support the joggers, the runners for the march, or there was a mile run or something like a 2K, whatever. But we were there to cheer on the crowd. We were there to cheer on the crowd as they ran, and every time people passed by Miles Morales, like, oh, Miles Morales, they got excited. They're, oh, Miles Morales. So like this, it was definitely a sign that like his character was known to like the random comic book fans, or even random people. So like it was inevitable. It was inevitable that like the Enter the Spider-Verse was going to be a huge hit, and I think once he becomes full-fledged into the MCU, it's just gonna blow up. And the game was great, like he is a beloved character, and like that's only within the last 10 years, so it proves that you can tell new stories with new characters who look different from the main continuity of our catalog of characters. So anytime someone rolls their eyes like, oh, it's a Muslim character, like, yeah, because like there's not many of them, and like representation is important. Like there are little girls out there who love Kamala Khan, like who identify with Kamala Khan, and it's important to have those stories told, and important for people to experience those stories for their own sake, for every little girl, for every Pakistani girl, I remember I know a lot of people don't like the Ghostbusters movie, the 2016 with all the girls. I still haven't seen it. But when I go to cons and I see little girls dressed up as Kate McKinnon as her character, like lots of them, you see girls dressed like Supergirl, you see girls dressed as Spider-Gwen, and like that's why it's important, because like all of them, they all deserve to be fans, they all deserve to have a place in like that fandom, so I'm not against like, I don't think it's pushing over the bounds to introduce more characters, more ideas, more viewpoints. More viewpoints.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Of the world, but do you is there? Let me try to think of a question here. You talk a lot about how your height being an issue in terms of like casting and stuff. Do you want to keep, so let's say you go back to acting, entertaining, do you want to keep working in that niche of similar to Ron Perlman, and similar to Andy Serkis, like doing special effects work, or do you really want to just be an actor and like I just want to go for roles, and like what do you want?
Oh hell yeah! I'd love being under monster makeup, where it's more a bit of a freedom, because you get to play more of a variety of characters. and it's getting to the point where I actually feel weird, like playing just a normal guy with a human face,
Like today you're playing Jim, and Jim works in a coffee
Yeah.
shop. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But yesterday you were Satan. you hailed the armies of hell, like, so it's like, yeah, I can see how one
And
can
I'm
feel it.
still, I mean, fun little fact. I'm actually still writing a little short that I'm going to write with my girlfriend, where I'm going to be playing both as, me, myself, and this demon named Kame, and
Okay.
which was a demon, which the mask was created by Larry Bones of Boneyard Effects.
Nice.
So and it's going to be fun. It's going to be one of the first times where I actually film myself in human form in God knows how when. But but yeah, it's going to be very much a fun experience.
Dude, yeah, keep me informed, man. I love to see it. I think
Oh
that's
yeah, definitely.
I love that. I love that COVID has well, I mean, obviously I hate COVID. COVID sucks. People died. But I'm saying, but the time I've had off to recollect myself and work on other projects, um, I think I've benefited a lot from that, because I started a podcast. I've been vlogging more. I've been getting prepared to get back to work. I've been mixing, and I'm ready to take on the world, and just get moving, and I don't think I'd have that energy or be prepared as I am now if I didn't have that long break. So you get to work on your little passion projects. That's really great, man.
Yeah, I mean, there were little snags.
Of course.
The first time I wrote the script, like my girl, she proofread it, and she said I was writing it like I was writing a story. I wasn't writing it like I was writing a script for a movie to film. And that was a
She's a harsh
small
critic.
little snag, because I was used to that kind of writing. But I'm learning as I go along, and I kind of feel pretty confident that it might not be the biggest hit of YouTube of that day, but it could. But if people like scroll by it, they might like it.
Just be consistent, like
Oh yeah.
and do what you're passionate about, and don't even worry. I mean, I don't worry about views or subscriptions. I just keep doing it, because I feel like there's an audience, like your audience will find you. Like the people,
Yeah.
like they're, people that exist in this world. There's plenty of people that like will be drawn to what you do. So just keep it up, and I'm there. Like you posted it, I will watch it. Like I've been keeping up to you since we've parted ways in our horror nights days, and I'm I'm proud of you, dude. Like I see you do all this crazy stuff. I'm always like, great job, Eric. Like that's awesome. You get to do all these.
And also, I got on such good graces with a lot of the artists that they're teaching me like little tidbits of their methods of how they apply the makeup. So and I'm learning. I mean, I'm not as good as they are, but I'm learning, including I was just getting a whole thing of grease paint by Susie. Do you know who Susie Hale is? Susie Hale, Boneyard Effects.
If I see their face, I'll probably be more inclined to remember. Yeah.
Yeah, she gave me a whole bunch of grease paint that she couldn't use. She either couldn't use, or she didn't have the time to use. So she just gave me like a whole shit ton of grease paint that for me to play around with, and also
Nice.
some makeup wound kits. So
nice. You should dabble in it. That sounds fun, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna cap it here. But before we end this conversation, I want to ask you: is there anything you want to promote, or anything you want to say to any young performers out there who maybe need some inspiration in terms of following their goals?
Well, I'll knock. There's a couple of things. I'll knock the latter what you just said first.
Right.
Where if you're a young performer and you're going to go into Hollywood, I suggest you do it as early as you can. Where yeah, granted, there are stories of people who later on in their lives they decided to, I made a career out of this one career. I'm kind of getting bored, and I might as well jump into Hollywood. But more often than not, most people when they reach a certain age, they come with a lot of with a lot of subjects that are going to tie them down and possibly take them away from Hollywood. So my suggestion is that you start as early as you can. You just jump into Hollywood as early as you can.
Good advice.
And also take advantage. Do the one thing that I didn't do at first is take advantage of what you have, because the social media, a lot of people are starting their careers on social media sites, and that was one mistake that, looking back now, that I kind of regret, because YouTube, when it was in infancy, I thought it was kind of like a silly concept, kind of a dumb thing, until most people took advantage of it and started making movies out of those YouTube videos.
Yeah. You're right. I feel like we missed the. I mean, I'm doing it now, but like
I'm doing it now too. So, but
yeah, I could if I did it earlier, I could have been doing so much more. And that's the beauty of YouTube. You have the ability to promote yourself. You make your own content. There's no auditioning. You're your own like creator. So I encourage you to keep doing stuff on YouTube and keep promoting, because like I said, there's an audience out there for everybody who's going to be drawn to your stuff. So keep it up, man.
Okay. The other one, I'm just going to knock out some of the promotions. I usually go by the name of Fantastic Gigantic. So I have a TikTok. I'm trying to build that. But usually my usual go-to is either Facebook / Eric Wallworth, or Instagram and YouTube, which is just look up Fantastic Gigantic, and you'll see all my stuff. And also, like I said before, I'm writing a script right now for a movie, and the movie is called The Bad Gamble. So it's about, the whole thing. My character is going to be making a deal with a demon called King, but the whole thing is going to be about me and my girlfriend. We're moving in together, and we're facing the whole entire story, which is going to be a satire on what it's like for a young couple to move into with each other during the time of pandemic.
Nice.
So it's going to be, if I do it right, it's going to be a horror comedy.
Okay. A lot of people can relate because moving during this time is not, especially with a girlfriend. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Eric, man. It was great catching up to you. I'll have you on again. We'll definitely come back.
We'll do it again, man.
Yeah, we're going to do this again. We're going to have a deeper conversation about other stuff and reminisce some more. But dude, you're a great guest. I appreciate you making your time for me.
You've been awesome too.
Dude, I didn't know that you were in another time zone. I would have been prepared, because you texted me like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, ready to go. It's only 5 o'clock.
I should have told you about that. I'm sorry. That was my fault.
No. Yeah. I feel like did I forget? Oh my God. But dude, check out Eric. I'll put his information down below, but check out Eric and all his cool Instagrams, and keep an eye out for his new project coming out. Honestly, if you go on his Instagram, you'll see all his cool makeup effects that he's done and all the projects he's done, and you'll see.
And if you want, I'll send you some of the photos so when this goes on whatever social media site you're gonna put this on, I'll give you the photos so you can put them up.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be great. Okay. Yeah. I'll get a thumbnail, so I'll put your face with the logo of the podcast. So it'll be fun.
Very cool.
But brother, be safe out there in Minnesota.
You too, man.
I wish something for the best of you, and you and your family be safe and take care. Okay. When you're back home, we'll meet up. We'll go back to Universal. We'll go to Horror Nights again. That'll be so much fun to go with you. But all right, from here in California and from Minnesota, I want to wish you guys all safety and be safe, be kind, be you, and
likewise, you and your mother, be safe. Okay.
All right, peace, guys.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Thank you so much for catching this episode of Unplugged. Don't forget, you can catch Unplugged both on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, or anywhere podcasts are found. And as always, you can follow me at The Amazing Katar on Instagram, as well as the other links to my socials down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again for watching. Be safe, be kind, be you, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.